welcome to another episode of the recruitment podcast from Lancashire Teaching Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust. How are you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. How's this week been?
Busy week this week.
Yeah?
Big piece of work at the moment, so it's been a busy week.
But keeping you busy?
Oh.
Out of trouble?
Out of trouble, definitely out of trouble.
Excellent. That's good. I've had a busy week as well.
You have had a busy week.
I've had a really busy week. What have I done? So busy I can't even remember. I've had a couple of meetings. We were at the job centre last week.
Yeah.
I then met with the DWP again around something. I've got a meeting with the probation service coming up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nothing to do with me. It's it's a meeting with someone who's reached out about opportunities. There's all sorts going on. Lots of vacancies. Promoting. I was at Chorley. Went and spoke about healthcare assistants. Again, a future episode of the podcast coming soon. It's in the pipeline. It's in production. And then I went to the NHS Armed Forces conference, which I'll talk about after when we got this, because it's Military March.
It is Military March.
So go on, Lauren, a little bit about Military March.
Put me on the spot now.
Yeah, I have.
So Military March is a month-long celebration of the work that the Armed Forces do and the NHS do collaboratively together.
Awesome.
That is not rehearsed.
No, that wasn't great. That was,
Straight off the
That's
tongue.
exactly what it is. And last week I met Neil Pease, who's our Chief People Officer.
Yeah.
And Debbie Tickle, who is our recruiting manager.
Yeah.
And the Armed Forces lead. Yes.
Among other things.
All the things. Debbie is many things.
Debbie is many things.
Yes. And I sat down with them for a chat about it, and also as a bit of an introduction to Neil, because he's new to the trust.
Yeah.
Some people will be aware of him. So it's a chance to kind of introduce him as well to the trust. And very excitingly, he also, afterwards we spoke, he said he might try and get us an interview with Silas, which would be really great.
Oh, that'd be cool, because I missed last ones with Kevin McGee.
You did?
I've missed that one. I was too busy sunning myself, so...
I still have thoughts about that Kevin McGee interview. Not because of the interview, he great experience, lovely opportunity. However, I got the bus up to the hospital, and there was a car crash in front of the bus, and I ended up running to the hospital with the microphone and equipment, and just saying to the bus driver, I need to get off this bus. I've got a very important meeting. And having to run off in the rain
oh my gosh.
For a bump outside Preston College. It wasn't a severe crash, thank goodness. But yeah, you can imagine the traffic was around rush hour, around school drop-offs. So I'll always remember that day. And I got there on time.
That's the main thing. You didn't keep him waiting.
I didn't keep Kevin waiting, and that's it. So hopefully we'll have Silas soon, but we'll see. Anyway, let's play the interview.
Let's go.
Okay, so here we are now, as promised, in the room. I've got Debbie Tickle, friend of the show, officially.
Absolutely.
I think this is your third appearance, is it?
It is, yeah. Nice to be back again.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming on again. And we've also got Neil, who is going to describe a bit about his role, because he's very important with the trust.
Yeah, especially as he's our boss.
Absolutely. And you've been here now, Neil, for
3 months.
3 months.
Time's flying, so yeah. Yeah, 3 months.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Feels like being in a parallel universe. I didn't even realise that you had a podcast. So no, thank you for inviting me.
No, it's good. Thanks for coming on. We do what we can. We do a few episodes, and there's more coming. So yeah, no, thank you very much for agreeing to appear. Today, as we said in the introduction with Lauren, we're discussing Military March. So Debbie, would you like to give us some more information on that?
So Military March is a massive celebration every year, marking the armed forces, personnel, veterans, and what they bring to our society, what they do for us outside of not only serving country, King and country now.
King and country, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one to get over, saying Queen
You
and
did,
country.
yeah. I was going to say Queen, but no, King and country.
Yeah, King and country.
Yeah, and as a trust, we are very close to Forward Barracks. We have close connections with them. So yeah, it's a great way for us to be able to celebrate.
Wonderful. I'm just going to go back to Neil here, because obviously after that introduction and discussing Military March, Neil has been here for 3 months. How are you finding the trust?
Unbelievably positive, actually. I'm absolutely loving it. I think that organisational culture is really hard to put your finger on, what the influencing factors are, but Lancashire Teaching Hospitals have been so friendly. The kind of people I've met have been so passionate about what they do. I think it's such a positive organisation. I'm not saying we're not without, it's not without its challenges. I don't think, I've worked in the NHS for over 30 years and I don't think I've ever known a time where services, irrespective of if you are frontline clinical or more back office focused, have been under so much pressure. But I think that the people here have always got a smile on their face, they've got a can-do attitude, and they've been so supportive and welcoming to me. I've been really, really pleased I made the move.
Excellent, that's nice to hear. So you've done 30 years in the NHS. I know you've worked in other places as well. Would you like to talk a little bit about that experience and give the listeners an idea of who you are?
So, a quick minute without boring people to death. It's 30 years in the NHS. I came, I think, in 1991 or 92 with no intention of staying whatsoever. Didn't like hospitals, they scared me. I needed a job near Christmas, and as things happened in those days, my grandma knew a lady who was in charge of portering and cleaning at the local hospital, and I got a job as and when domestic, and I was booked in the evenings from 5 till 8, mopping the main corridors at the hospital. And anybody who can remember Hong Kong Phooey, I was a mild-mannered janitor who used to mop the corridors of an evening, and I went on from there to at the trust I was working at in Doncaster. They merged the portering and domestic role, so it was a role that they called service assistant, and I was a service assistant for a while. Then I got a job as a healthcare assistant and worked as a healthcare assistant for about 10 years in various areas. Did my A-levels as a mature student at the grand old age. I think I was 25 or 26, but I was going to do medicine, opted for sports medicine at Glasgow, graduated when I was 31, and pretty much fell into workforce and HR after that. I've worked all across the country, Hull, Nottingham, Lincolnshire, Scunthorpe, Grimsby, little stints elsewhere. So yeah, and I think I've been an exec director now for about 14 years, something like that. So it's been varied background, but I think that I wouldn't change any of it. I think that the different jobs I've done and the different levels I've worked at, I think give you a fantastic grounding as well.
Absolutely.
I can confidently walk onto a ward, or I spent a few hours in A&E this week talking to staff there, and I just think it gives you a really good understanding. I haven't got all the answers, but I think it does give you a good it gives you a good grounding, and you understand what they're going through. Constantly fascinates me how technology has moved on from when I started. But no, it's I wouldn't change anything. But just to reiterate how pleased I am to be here, because I don't think people realise what a good organisation this is. This is very, very good. Some of the things that we are doing here, or you are doing here, are the kind of things that I've always wanted to do and always hoped that we could do. But this organisation is doing a lot of those kind of things.
That's good to hear, and really nice to hear as well. Very inspiring story, actually. I think that will resonate
with a lot of staff, because obviously we are teaching hospitals and we do encourage people to go and learn and to try and do things and the rest of it. And I think your personal story is just that, and you've seen it. You've been on the front line doing healthcare. You've moved through. You've got your degree. You've gone into HR. You know, you obviously have a good rapport with staff when you go on to these places and visit them. So no, I really like that. Debbie, Military March now.
Yes.
Then crux of it. You've explained a little bit about Military March. Why is it important as an organisation?
It's a recognition of everybody, and I do think that if you're in the military or you've been in the military, you can get pigeonholed sometimes, and people just think that you're out there on the front line and you're fighting. But it's not just about that. It's about what you can bring to an organisation when you leave. When you leave the military, we are affiliated to Step Into Health, so people can contact Step Into Health, say, I'm really interested in working at Lancashire Teaching, what can you do for me? So we can offer lots and lots of things, work placements, taster days, things like that. We really want to encourage that. One of the other things is we have a core of staff who are reservists as well.
Yes.
And as an organisation, we really encourage people to join the reservists, because what we get out is probably double what they can get out of, what they get out as well. So we know that they bring lots and lots of training with them. I was on a course last week and I never realised that there's a whole mapping system. This is how ignorant I am about it.
Right.
That the training you do in the armed forces can map directly to recognise courses outside of the army. So I'm thinking of my lad, we all know that he's in the army, and when he did his corporal's carder, I just thought he was running around a field making noises and shouting at people. But no, a whole element of that is being able to manage a team.
Yeah.
And we forget about that. As you move up the ranks, you manage people underneath you, which is the equivalent to an ILM3.
I was going to say, because I know we spoke about that in the office the other day, that actually there's an equivalent in the civvy world, as it were. It transfers over and has an equivalent, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we, as an organisation, we failed to recognise that previously. And I think that's a learning outcome for us, certainly for me on the course. And I want to be able to get hold of that matrix, share that matrix with our recruiting managers, because we do have a guaranteed interview scheme if you declare yourself as a veteran, a member of the Armed Forces family. So if you're a wife, a spouse, a daughter who is part of that family, we will give you a guaranteed interview if you meet the person specification. And I think what we sometimes struggle with is mapping it across of what the equivalent is.
Yes.
So I'll be really excited to work on a bit of that over the next months.
Excellent. Fantastic. Neil, do you have anything to add on Military March? Do you have any thoughts about what it is as a workforce and working with reservists in the NHS from any personal experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really interested in how we can look after reservists and how we can support, I suppose, all our armed forces. I mean, I think everybody listening to this will agree that the world is in a very volatile place at the moment. I don't think there's ever been as much conflict, I suppose, and some of it not far from where we are. I was watching a programme the other night about the RAF and just a lot of things that happen every day that that we're probably not even aware of. These are people who were willing to put their life on the line to keep us all safe, and I think we owe a duty of care to make sure that we equally do everything to what we can do to look after them. And I think this is a partnership. Years and years ago, I once went on a conference. It's one of those that I don't even know how I ended up there, to be honest. But it was around
that kind of conference.
Yeah. It was. I was working in simulation at the time, clinical simulation, and it was about military education and simulation, and it really brought it home to me just how much crossovers we've got as well with healthcare and the military, and how we could do more to learn from each other. I worked really closely with a guy a few years ago called Stephen Hart, who was the chief exec for a while of the NHS Leadership Academy. And he was ex-military, ex-Royal Marines officer. And the conversations I used to have with Stephen was, so enlightening, and so many things that we could take into the NHS and that would benefit from the NHS. But I think ultimately the military is a hugely untapped source of talent that we can benefit from, and they can benefit from if we give them the support and opportunities. So I think Military March is an opportunity to stop, pause, reflect on what we can do, but how we can improve those relationships.
No, I agree. Sounds fantastic. Well, does that conclude it, Debbie?
I think it does.
It's a good note.
Me and Neil will have to basic control now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, up to vacancy control panel. Yeah, we see what magic we can work.
We are.
Be good. Thank you very much again for joining us, Neil, and hopefully see you soon. Debbie, as always, thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you back in the office.
See you
Thanks,
back in the
Lauren.
office. Cheers. So there you have it, Lauren. What did you think of that?
I thought that was really good.
Excellent. And have you met Neil yet?
I haven't actually met him.
Well, I think when he's in, I'll have to introduce you.
Yes, you're going to have to.
Because I know that you both work from home at times, so I think that's probably why you've just not crossed over.
Yeah.
But no, that was great. I really enjoyed that interview, and it was great sitting with Debbie.
As always.
As always good sitting with Debbie. And yeah, obviously it's Military March, and it's really important. I recorded that before I went on the NHS Employers Armed Forces Conference this week. So my understanding and perception of it has changed again.
Okay.
I feel like I've learnt a lot more. It was a really good conference on Tuesday. Enjoyed it. It was all online, all virtual, which was new to me. And yeah, some really good breakout sessions and some takeaway points that will inform our recruitment and going forward we'll definitely use. Good.
Sounds like a good day well spent.
It really was. But it's been a busy week, and yeah, we've got some more podcasts in the pipeline.
We have. We've got a couple up our sleeve.
We have got a couple up our sleeve, which will become apparent soon. I will say one thing though.
Okay.
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy?
Yes.
It's like you're talking in code to you now.
No, pharmacy. Hold tight and all will be revealed.
Sounds exciting.
I don't know when. Maybe next week. Maybe the week after. But it's in the pipeline.
Can't wait.
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy.
Yay. Right. And on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Awkward as ever. Okay. Right. Goodbye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.